Hey everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Project Live. It's now the first week of July, which is a perfect time to stop and reflect and reset ourselves to get ready for the rest of the year. That's what today's show is going to be about. How do we take stock of what we've achieved so far in the first half of the year to reset and make sure we make the most of the gift that is giving to us of this year of 2024. So that's what our program is going to be about. Stay tuned to the end because I'm going to provide some very practical tips as to what you can do to make the most of 2024 and finish the year with a bang and with success. So welcome to the Leadership Project Live. Thank you for joining us today. It's always great to see you. We're streaming out to LinkedIn, to Facebook, and to YouTube all at once. If you're joining us, please do post a question or some comments in the comments. We'd love to hear from you about this concept around this reset in the middle of the year to make sure that we're making the most of the rest of the 6 months of this year so that you can finish the year proud and finish the year knowing that it was the best year that you could possibly make it. That's what our content is going to be about today. Please do stay tuned to the end because I'm going to leave you with some really actionable insights as to what you can practically do, what you can put in place right now to start putting in some daily habits so that at the end of the year, you're ultimately very proud of everything that you've achieved. So without any further ado, let's get into this content around this concept of the mid-year reset. So first question, where are you? We're halfway through the year, first week of July. It's time to stop and reflect and rethink. What's working for you? What's not working for you? How's the first 6 months of the year been for you? Are you proud of what you've done so far? Are there areas where you would like to do more? The first thing I want to make sure you do is to make sure you do celebrate your wins. We can often be quite hard on ourselves and we can always be looking at the negative of the things that we didn't achieve. But what are you proud of that you did achieve? There must be something. What are you grateful for? We know from the work of Martin Seligman the power of gratitude. What are you grateful for? Have you shown gratitude to other human beings along the way? Have you taken the time with your loved ones to make sure that you are sharing your successes, you're sharing your love, you're sharing your gratitude with them to make sure that they know that you see them, that you care about them, that you value them? Because everyone on the planet wants to feel seen, heard, and valued. The funny thing happens when we show that gratitude, it rewards us as well. It feels really good. It feels really good. I'm getting some wonderful comments in the chat already from my beautiful wife. I'm grateful that you are always there for me. And that's exactly what the two of us have got. I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But to have that someone that you share it with, share the journey with, and to be grateful for, it's good for them and it's good for you. The other thing is about being successful and celebrating those successes that you have. And I used this quote in a previous show from Bill Gates that people often overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Well, you can reverse that too. And when you're looking at this moment, sometimes you can get really frustrated with yourself. You get frustrated about what you haven't achieved, and you forget to look at how far you've come. So take the time now to look back. It might be more than 6 months. It might be the last 5 years. How far have you come? And celebrate the little successes along the way. Now, it is important that we also work on the things that are holding us back, right? So we celebrate the successes and then we work on the things that are holding us back. So take the time now to think about what hasn't worked well. In the first 6 months of this year, what hasn't worked well for you? Take a bit of a stock take of this. Did you set yourself some goals at the start of the year that right now you don't feel that you're on track for? Be honest with yourself. Give yourself that on a scorecard. Now, in doing so, make sure you don't beat yourself up. Okay, this is not what it's about. This is about learning. It's not being self-critical, self-admonishing, self-deprecating. That's not what this is about. So don't beat yourself up. You cannot change what has already happened. You can only change what you do from this moment onwards. So if you've made mistakes in the first 6 months of this year, that is okay. What's most important now is that you stop and reflect and you learn from those mistakes and you make any minor changes that you feel that you need to make as you progress. So no amount of regret can change the past and no amount of anxiety can change the future. But what we can do is change our present by being aware, paying attention, learning and growing. So we don't beat ourselves up about things that have already happened, but we do stop and reflect and we think about what did we learn and what will we do differently from the learnings that we've taken. And then we need to be able to let go. We need to be able to let go of it. Once we've taken that lesson and we've committed to our new action, we need to be able to let go of the past. Let it go to let it come. Let it go to let it come. In last week's show, we heard from Roger Federer about the power he has as high-performance tennis players. I'm going to say Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, their ability to let a point go. The point that they've just lost, they can't do anything about. Even if it was a bad line call from the umpire, they can't change that. All they can do is let it go and focus on the next point, the point that they're playing right now. This is the most powerful thing that you can do right now at this 6-month point. Look back, learn, let it go, look forward. This applies to all kinds of things that you might be trying to do in your life. I've shared this story before, that if you're committing yourself to eat healthier and you go out and you have a bad night on the burgers, the pizza, and the beer one night, what's most important is what you do next. It's not that one night that you went out and had burgers, pizza, and beer. That doesn't make any lick of difference whatsoever. It's what you do the next morning. If you can forgive yourself, let go, and move forward and go, okay, I went a bit off track last night. I had a bit of fun, had a good time with my friends. Forgive myself for that. Now, today, I get back to making smarter nutrition choices. That's what makes a difference in this world. Now, I keep on using that nutrition example, but you can apply that to anything you're trying to change in your world. If you're trying to be a better leader, a better father, a better mother, a better sibling, you can apply this concept. You're not always going to get it right. But what you need to do is stop and reflect, learn from it, let it go, and then take different actions going forward. It's this ability to reset and pivot all the time. This is the difference of high performers. It's not that they get it right every time at all. High performers make mistakes all the time, but they're able to learn from them, let them go, and then move forward. Okay, so what do you want to achieve for the next year? Let's take a bit of time on this right now. Take the time now, stop, and visualize what you want to achieve by the end of 2024. Could be in categories of health or a personal goal, a career goal, a relationship goal. What will make you proud? What's going to make you proud at the end of this year that you're going to be able to hang your hat on and go, yeah, I did that? Where you're going to thank yourself for the actions that you took and to be proud that you finished the year strong. So have a really good think about that. Then I want you to think about what makes that thing important to you. This is going to be really important. What makes that thing important to you? Now I'm going to share mine. Mine's going to be a health one. So for the rest of this year, I'm committing to lose 5 kilos. So that's 11 pounds for those that are watching in parts of the world that haven't caught up with modern science. I'm going to lose 5 kilos by the end of the year. Now, what makes that important to me? Two things. First one is I want to be able to keep up with my kids. With my two boys, Thomas and Henry, I want to be able to keep up with them, and they're getting more and more active all the time. The second one is I want to live a very long life with my wife, Say, my loving wife, Say. And if I don't look after my health now, I'm putting those things at jeopardy. So I'm not just setting a goal as to what I want to achieve by the end of the year. I'm also taking the time to understand what makes it important to me. And that's going to be important when times are tough and I need to remind myself as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, now from the big goal that you're trying to achieve, break it down. Break it down. What would need to be true for you to hit that goal? Think of somewhere between 3 to 5 big moves, big chunky things that if you were to achieve those one at a time, at the end of the year, you're going to say, tick in the box, yes, I did it. So what would need to be true for me to be able to hit this goal? And what might be the first step? Action is what is needed here. When we talk about manifestation and visualization, it is absolutely not about just wishful thinking and dreaming. Manifesting is about intentional, prolific action that's focused on what we're trying to achieve. So breaking it down and bringing it down to those first steps that you need to take. And I'm going to give you some motivational elements here to help you take those first steps. And it might be a really tiny one, a really tiny first step. Now, in science fiction movies, and if anyone knows what this movie is, the clip here or the image here from the movie, put it in the comments if you like. I'll tell you in a moment what it is. From science fiction movies about time travel, people are always worried about going back in time and doing some small action that impacts their present. But when was the last time you thought about what small action that you could do today that impacts your future? The same rule applies. The same rule applies. So stop worrying about things that you haven't done in the past. Worry about what you can do today, even the smallest action today, that can start compounding and change your future. This is what we need. Action. Even small actions compound over time into big changes. Another quote to help cement this: the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. So it's action is what we need, even small action. And here we can also get ourselves into the law of inertia. So a body at rest has a tendency to stay at rest. A body in motion has a tendency to stay in motion. So let's get in motion. Let's take those first steps so that we start going down the road towards the person we want to be. And we'll start seeing the changes. Now, what are some of the techniques that you can do to make this happen? The first one I want to share with you is what gets scheduled gets done. So what I want you to do is, from these actions that you've come up with, you know what you're trying to achieve, you know why it's important to you, you know what actions you now need to take. We now need to start putting that into your calendar, because what we schedule gets done. And I want you to start making appointments with yourself and to treat that appointment like it's your most important customer. Because remember, you said this was important to you. So get it in that calendar and protect it like it was a meeting with your most important customer, or maybe your boss, whoever, whatever dominates your calendar. Start putting in things for yourself that impact these goals that you're trying to achieve. Furthermore, I'd encourage you to do time blocking. Now, I've learned over time that I work best in 90-minute blocks, right? This is how I wrote my first book. I put in 90-minute blocks of writing time. I treated those appointments as the most important appointment in my day, and I'd work for 90 minutes and then take a rest. It's amazing what you can achieve when you put those time blocks in your calendar and you protect them at all costs. The next tip is to remove friction. What are the things that might stop you from getting started? So the picture here is a really good example. If, like me, your goal is going to be around health and fitness, and let's say you're committing to go to the gym 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever the case may be, the most important step is what happens the night before. If you can get your gym bag out and you can pre-pack your gym bag, you might even go as far as having your clothes laid out next to the bed so that when you wake up, the easiest thing for you to do is to get dressed and get going. Now, here's a supportive comment again. Another one. I think he watches the show every week, from my son, Thomas. Hi, Dada. Thank you. I love the support. Thank you. I do this for you. I do this for you. You inspire me. And some more love from my wife as well. Thank you so much. So I do this for you. And I'm doing these habits that I'm talking about for you, Thomas, and for you, Say, and for you, Henry. So remove the friction the night before. Whatever the habit is, plan for it the night before, whether it's a career habit, a learning habit, a health and fitness habit, a relationship habit. Do the prep work the night before so you remove the friction, and it makes it easier to do it than not do it. Imagine that. Imagine if you can set yourself up so it's easier to do the thing than it is to not do the thing. That's when you know that you've really removed the friction from the process. The other tip I can give you is what we call habit stacking. Habit stacking is when there's something that you're already habitually doing and you attach a new virtuous habit towards that thing. So if your new habit is that you're committing to drink more water, which is another very good habit for those out there that are thinking about this one, and let's say that you're like me and you drink far too much coffee. Well, imagine that you commit that every time you go to the kitchen to make that extra coffee, that you'll commit to drink a glass of water every time you have that coffee. That you'll have a glass of water every time you sit down for a meal. That you'll have a glass of water when you're going to bed. So you're starting to stack the virtuous habit against something that you were going to do anyway. And this is another really good way of removing friction and getting more compliant with the healthy habit that you're trying to build. The next tip is to think about, what are you going to say no to? What are you going to say no to? You only have 24 hours in a day. And if you're committing and saying that this goal that you're trying to set, these actions that you're trying to take, are the most important thing in your life, show it to me by showing me what you're going to say no to. What are you going to displace with this new action? And having that ability to say no is what makes it more powerful to the things that we say yes to. So if we try to, in any given day, if we try to do 36 things, we will do 36 things very badly. But if we commit to doing 3 things, and 3 things only, we're going to do them really well. So have a think about what you can say no to make more room for the things that you're committing to saying yes to. Now, we also need to build in here the power of performance. Now, you've seen me use this chart before. For those that follow the show a lot, I'll probably always refer to this equation because it makes infinite sense to me. So it's from Timothy Galway, world famous tennis coach. that performance is equal to potential minus interference. And nothing could be more true when it comes to habits and looking to achieve our goals. We need to work on two parts of the equation: our potential and removing the sources of interference. So let's unpack those. What are you going to do this year to work on your potential? So if there's something you want to get better at, how are you going to build the knowledge, the skills, the competency, the consistency, the practice of getting better at the thing that you want to get better at? So the first one, the first positive part of the equation, how am I going to sharpen the saw? How am I going to get better at this thing that I've committed to? And then we need to look for the sources of interference. What are we going to do to remove those sources of interference? Now, it could be limiting beliefs. It could be that you just don't believe that you can do it, and you need to work on how you're going to overcome those limiting beliefs. And for those that have been following the show, I did a live stream a few weeks ago on overcoming fear and limiting beliefs. And if you want to look for that episode, we'll put it in the comments so that you can click on it. Go and have a look at how you overcome your own limiting beliefs and your own fears. Other forms of interference are distractions. And the number one in today's society, and I'm guilty of it too, don't worry, the number one in today's society is social media. Are you sitting on the couch scrolling through TikTok when you could be out doing the thing that you committed to? Now, for me, I do it. And this is going to be one of the ones that I limit. I'm going to be limiting my TikTok scrolling at night so I can get more sleep and I can focus on my health and nutrition. If you really want to challenge yourself here, you can do a little bit of an audit of where does your time go? Where does your time go? Is your time being spent in social media with endless scrolling, or are you spending your time wisely on the things that will move you towards the goals that you're trying to achieve? The next tip is about your own mindset and the story that you tell yourself in your own mind, because there's nothing more powerful than the story we tell ourselves in our own mind, the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, the story that we tell ourselves about the world around us and how we fit into the world around us. And we can take hold of that. We can hold the pen and we can be the one that writes the story. The kind of stories we might write start with statements like this: I am the kind of person who. And if you finish that statement with a positive statement, you will start living that statement. I am the kind of person who prioritizes exercise. I am the kind of person who always tells my wife I love her. I am the kind of person who makes smarter choices when I go out to restaurants. And the more you tell yourself that story, the more it becomes true. Even more so if you start telling that story to other people, it becomes part of your external identity as well. And you start living up to that standard. This can also go in the negative way, by the way. I'm the kind of person who survives on 3 to 5 hours sleep. It becomes self-fulfilling, and that's not a healthy habit. So you need to be careful on this one on a negative sense. I'm the kind of person who eats burgers and pizza every night. It becomes self-fulfilling. So grab hold of the pen and start rewriting that story with positive statements. I'm the kind of person who makes smarter choices. I'm the kind of person who is kind and caring and curious. I'm the kind of person who, and you insert your own statement as to the person you want to become. When we share those statements with others, we can create what we call an accountability buddy. So sharing that statement, I'm the kind of person who goes to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, having that accountability buddy that might help you stay consistent to the habit that you're trying to build. I'm going a step further on this one. I wrote a little contract with my wife last night that for the next 6 months, on the days that I don't exercise, I owe her $100. Now there's commitment. She probably wins out of that on the occasional day as well. An accountability buddy, someone that can help you do it. It can go as far as doing it together as well. Finding that kindred spirit who also wants to exercise, or who also wants to learn how to play the piano, or who also wants to do this thing that you want to do. You might do it together. So an accountability buddy could be just someone that you talk to, or it could be someone that you do these activities together with. Now, the next most important tip is to prepare that things are not always going to go to plan. It's a complete folly to think that it's going to be perfect every day. So start thinking about the things that could go wrong. And there's 2 really powerful things that you can do here. The first one is back to what we said before, the ability to reset. So if you do mess up and you miss your habit today, it's okay. Forgive yourself, learn from it, let it go, move forward and do it again today. So resetting. The second one is to maybe have little contingency plans. So if your commitment is that you're going to cook healthy meals every day, maybe have a few pre-prepared healthy meals in the freezer. So if you're at work one day and you have a really long meeting and you don't get home until late and you don't feel like cooking a fresh, nutritious meal, you'll have some meals ready to go and you won't be tempted to call Uber Eats and eat pizza, burger, whatever it is, whatever your vice is. You can probably tell I like pizza and burgers, right? Okay, so have some contingency plans for when things are not going to go well. Might even be with the gym type situation, where if you're committing to go to the gym and you wake up one morning and the weather is just horrendous, are you going to do a home workout? Or are you going to switch and work out that evening instead? So there's the ability to reset and there's ability to have a plan B, are the 2 things that you can do here. And what we're driving to is persistence. Persistence and consistency over time. Not perfection, consistency over time. If we can get 1% better every single day over a 12-month period, that adds up to 3,700% improvement on the thing that we were trying to improve. So it's showing up every day. And on the days that we miss it, we show up the next day. This is a little bit like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth once does not give you healthy teeth. Missing brushing your teeth once does not make your teeth fall out. It's consistently brushing your teeth, hopefully twice a day, but on the majority of days is what keeps your teeth healthy. Same with going to the gym. Going to the gym once does not make you strong. Missing one gym session does not make you weak. Consistently showing up the majority of the time is what builds muscles and strength over time. And we do need to push ourselves a little bit outside the comfort zone. So it's not just doing the same thing over and over again. It's turning the dial up little by little on this thing that you're trying to build. Start small and then grow a little bit each day. Make it that little bit tougher, because it's just outside our comfort zone is where the most change will ever happen. Also prepare for how you're going to celebrate and reward yourself when you do achieve your goal. It's really important. The reward mechanisms in your brain are what's going to push you to do it again sometime. So think now about what things that you would really enjoy. It might be a trip to the movies. It might be Sunday morning brunch, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you really enjoy, get yourself ready with some little celebrations and rewards that will help you to keep going. And the final tip before we close it out is this practice of self-reflection. As you go through the next 6 months and you're trying to build this new habit and achieve this action that you're trying to achieve, every day ask yourself, what went well? What didn't go well? What will I do differently next time? What did I learn about myself? And what did I learn about others? Because it's not perfect application every day that will work. It's taking little pivots every day that will make you successful. It's how we learn and how we apply the learning that makes all the difference in the world. So to wrap up the tips here, this is what I want you to think about for the next 6 months. It's time to reset now. It's time to think about what it is that you want. What will you be proud of at the end of 2024? And what makes that thing important to you? Because knowing what's important to you will keep you motivated and keep reminding yourself as to why you're doing this thing. Break down the steps. What needs to be true for me to achieve this thing? What are the first steps? What are the next steps? Break it down into manageable steps. Take focused, intentional action. Manifestation is absolutely not about dreaming and visualization. It's about focus and action. Focus and action. Prepare for bad days, because it's not going to go perfectly every single day. Prepare for the bad days and understand how you're going to reset, or do you have a plan B? And then self-reflect daily. What went well? What didn't go well? What would I do differently next time? What did I learn about myself and what did I learn about others? And by doing this, we continue to adapt and change and move towards our goal. We don't give up. We adapt and change and continually move towards our goal. And that is what adds up to a huge change, even in a 6-month period. You've got 6 months left in this year. If you can do that every day, you'll be so proud of yourself. And I'll be proud of you. And your loved ones will be proud of you. You'll be so proud of yourself at the end of this 6 months if you're able to take this prolific action. So that's the end of our show today. If you're enjoying these videos, I'm going to put some links in here. There are other ones about this high performance mindset, how we can create the world and the life that we want and the life that we can be proud of by the power of our mind and the power of taking prolific, focused action. Thank you for joining today, and we look forward to bringing you the next live stream shortly.